So people on the internet right now are going gung-ho crazy about active balancers for their new cell battery systems. And that is completely illogical, and I don't think these people understand how much cell drift is occurring on a new cell system because it's practically nothing. You could have no balancer on a new battery system, and if the cells are matched and you do not have any temperature extremes or you do not push the C rate of those cells, you should never, ever, ever need an active cell balancer. I made a video some months ago about active cell balancing, and the intended application was for used cell systems where there's mismatched capacity. And in those instances, yes, this will work. But for everybody else that's spending $100 or buying these deli green active balancers, you guys are wasting your money. And I'm even seeing some of the YouTuber battery builders use these things. There is no point to this. The next point is that people are trying to use active balancers to replace a BMS. A battery management system has individual cell monitoring and will cut off any loads that are connected for a low voltage event. These do not. And if you look at the discharge curve of lithium iron phosphate, when it gets low very quickly, and these will not balance fast enough to avoid damage. So do not rely on these. You need an actual battery management system. And if you're using an active balancer and a BMS, you are just simply wasting your money and your time. And there's a higher likelihood of a problem occurring with this, because why should you even have an extra board on your system at all? This is something else that can fail. Another misconception that I've noticed is people will complain about the cheaper BMS balance current because this one's like 200 milliamps, and that's pretty typical, and it's not triggered until it's at a higher state of charge. But what people simply do not understand is that even the $1,000 or $2,000 BMS, even the Orion is a passive dissipative balancer with only like 200 or 150 milliamps. And people complain that that is a slow balance current. That's actually more than enough. And I promise you that the engineers that are designing $1,000 BMSs know a lot more about these systems than what you see on YouTube or on these random Facebook groups. You should not listen to these people, okay? These are designed for a specific application with new cells, and they work perfectly fine, and these will keep your cells balanced and happy. Cells can go out of balance faster if you're pushing the C rate of the cells, but for solar, and because the limiting factor typically current-wise is the BMS, most of you guys will never have that problem. And another cause of imbalanced cells is temperature extremes. And what's another one? Improper use. If one of the cells is damaged, you'll have faster cell drift over time. But yeah, buying these active cell balancers with a new cell system is completely pointless. Also, with the intended application that I mentioned in my previous video of using an active cell balancer with mismatched capacity cells, this will only work well if the C rate is very low, and this can catch up to it, and this should also be used in conjunction with the BMS. Just to give you an idea of how much of a ripoff these things are, you could easily use new cells, bottom balance them, and then set the absorption manually or the upper voltage limit on your solar charge controller, and these will be fine for months. You can check the balance and they will not go out of balance with any kind of balancer or any kind of BMS. I'm not recommending people do that anymore. If you have a BMS with a passive dissipative balancer, some people will complain saying that it's inefficient and it's just given off as heat. That is absolutely true, but the amount of heat given off over the course of a year is very, very small. And this BMS will not trigger into balance mode unless the cell drift is excessive. It has to hit a certain limit and it has to be at a certain state of charge. But if you're trying to use these, as I intended about half a year ago for mismatched capacity cells, then go ahead and do it. It will totally work. You have to ensure that the C rate matches how much this can balance and the speed for the size of the bank. But these work great for that. But spending your money on one of these when you absolutely don't need it and you already have some form of a BMS is just completely silly and a waste of your time and money. And if you want to learn this concept yourself, build a very small battery bank without any BMS, do a very solid initial bottom balance, and then set your upper limit voltage for absorption, and then see how much balancing is required after 6 months to a year of cycling every day. You will notice it will be very, very small, if not none at all. Typically, you'll just check and it'll be within 0.01 volts of each other, and if those cells are matched properly and it's high quality system and everything's properly made, you shouldn't have to balance that much at all. So yeah, I think a lot of people just thought that if you add a balancer, you're set and all your cells will be instantly balanced, but that's not the case. Typically, these are a waste of your time and money. But I'm gonna make videos with these with mismatched capacity cells and show you exactly what difference it does make on a used cell system. Or you're recycling cells for a power wall, then these actually might work pretty well and it might be a really good addition on your system. But yeah, having a new lithium iron phosphate system with these, total ripoff. Alright, I hope you guys found this video useful, and I will talk to you soon. There's lots of videos to come. Right now, I ripped apart this part of the lab, and we're building a huge bench. So it's going to be awesome. So I will talk to you soon. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.